Hello and welcome to Bear Cub the Beast.
This is my Bear Cub Paul.
And this is my Bear Ronen. And we're back for another episode. Don't forget that if you want to listen to us or watch us, we release episodes every other Thursday. You can watch them anywhere that you watch or listen to podcasts. So don't forget to like and subscribe and follow and everything. And we will be giving you content every other week. So, how's it going?
I'm good. I started to go to the gym after doctor's orders.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's time. When you're 47, it's time to take care of your body.
You've not really been to the done the gym before, right?
Well, I tried a few times. I listed. I
Subscribed?
subscribed.
No,
Yeah.
it's not right, but sure.
All right.
Signed up.
Signed up, yeah, like a couple of times to different ones, and it's just something that I'm not into. I like, me and sport are like water and oil, like seriously. But it's time for me to.
But I think if you had a program, I have been regularly to the gym like 3 times maybe in my life. It made a difference.
For how long?
Once for I went for 2 years. At one point, I went for I started when I was on my year abroad in Russia, and I probably went for about 6 or 7 months. Because the second half.
Yeah, my longest is 2 weeks.
No, and then when I was in London, I used to go all the time. I went for when I got my first job and stuff. I used to go all the time. I went for about 2 years, and then didn't for ages. And then before I moved here, the year before I moved here, I went for quite solidly for about 2 years. And I used to go 5 times a week, and
No cheating, no.
what? No, sometimes,
I
but
hurt my toes.
No,
so
no.
I cannot work out on my fingers or my hands or.
No. I went regularly. I had first of all, it was a really cheap gym, which meant that I had and I was earning decent money. So it was a cheap gym, decent money meant I could get a personal trainer twice a week, and 2 or 3 times a week, and I would do weights and stuff. And then 3 times a week, I did this thing. I don't remember what they called it, but it was a high intensity circuit training thing. It was I used to call it Fat Club because it was well, the thing was, it was at 10:30 in the morning, which meant that it was mainly kind of overweight mums who didn't work and me. And but they were really nice and we got on really well. But it was hard work because it was all about your own weight and stuff. So it didn't matter what size you were working with your own weight. And then there was you could do the weaker stuff if you wanted, but I always did the more difficult stuff. So if there were 2 types of weights, I'd pick the heaviest one. Or if it was you would do as many push-ups as you could, and I would do more than other people because I was
Yeah. Well, for me, I tried this time to take it easy, to take it slow.
Yeah.
Not to push myself too hard, because one of the main reasons is that usually I do push myself hard and then I get hurt, and it's kind of cutting the rhythm, and it's hard to get back.
Yeah.
I'm lifting way too much than I can handle, and then I get inflammation or hurt myself. So this time I'm taking it real slow. 20 minutes of aerobic, a round of weightlifting, and that's it.
But you should you should come up with or get someone to help you.
I will, but for now, let's say for the first month,
you just do everything.
I'm doing everything just to get my muscles going, to get oiled up, and and that's it. Yeah. Today I've been to the gym.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really nice. This is my workout gym. They are kind of dirty because it's
They were also your painting.
also my paintings. Yeah,
Your painting shorts.
my painting shorts.
I do want to go back to the gym. I'm a bit scared because last time I went to the gym during my Fat Club thing, my back spasmed and I ended up on the floor, and then I had to walk home on my own. Well, not walk to my car on my own. It was like a 5-minute walk. It took me like 40 minutes to walk there, and I kind of and I'd done it. Nothing that it wasn't like, oh well, I didn't do it properly. I'd been doing the same thing for 2 years and it was fine. I spoke to the doctor about when it happened. I spoke to the doctor and he said it was just my sciatica was just getting worse. Oh. So the gym wouldn't have hurt it. It wouldn't have hurt it. It was just so happened that I was at the gym and I did something that did it. You know, like it wasn't like going to the gym damaged it. And they said that I should keep going afterwards, but I just was too nervous to go on my own, and my ex wouldn't go with me, and so since then, and then I moved here, and then I didn't find a gym here particularly. I couldn't find. I've been asking for now nearly 5 years.
Just to be clear, the gym that I'm going to is at
work. So it's not like I can go with you.
You cannot go with me because I prefer to do it just right after work, and that's it. Because when I get home, there's no way I'm going to get out.
And
again.
It's not even like I can meet you after work because we work at completely different times.
Exactly. So it's not that I don't want to go with him. It's just because our hours are different.
Yeah.
But hopefully soon there will be gym in our building.
Yes.
And then you can just go down.
And I'll be okay doing that because I just need to get into a lift to go home. If something happens, God forbid.
Yeah.
But I do want to go, and I might even see if I can get someone. And if it's in the building, I might even see if someone wants to like come here and we can use it on our own,
Yeah.
And we won't have to pay for it. But they've been talking about doing that for like 8 months.
Yeah.
Like they said they were going to do it
more than 8 months, like 10 months.
Yeah. So hopefully they will.
Well,
the other building there's another building in our like estate, and that has a.
He'd been occupied like a year before us, and maybe more. I don't know.
Much more, about 5 years.
This one?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So okay.
No, it's much more. It's like 5 years.
It takes time. These things.
Yeah. But I do want to go. I want to get buff. I've got the bear bit down. Now I need to get the muscle bear bit down. The muscle bit to make a muscle bear. So in 5 years, maybe.
The funny thing that everybody that's looking at me kind of, oh, you do work out, right? I said, no.
Because you're chopping.
I'm chopping.
I think it's your chopping that
my fingers are really muscly.
Your fingers, you have very muscular fingers.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. No, we need. Yeah, I do want that, and then we can put a plan together, and we need to do stuff really because I kind of miss going. I really like going to the gym.
I really don't.
Just don't want to go on my own. I just need to go. I also, when you go with someone, like when I had a personal trainer, few things. First of all, I was paying more money, and so that was like guilting me. Like you paid money,
yeah,
you go.
exactly.
And also, because I had a personal trainer, and if I didn't go and cancelled my lesson, he didn't get paid. So it was like I felt guilty.
Yeah.
I felt guilty about taking money out of his pocket.
Yeah.
So so guilt is a very strong motivation for me. I guess. I guess we need to speak to my mother about that. That's something for therapy. No, but like
I will remember that.
Yeah, guilt is a good motivator for me. So if I feel like I'm letting someone down, like letting myself down, I don't care about. But if I'm letting someone else down, then I will do
Make an effort.
Yeah, because I don't. It's one thing to screw myself over. I don't want to screw other people over.
Yeah. True.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we have a really cool guest coming up.
Yeah.
We do. His name is Justin Terry Smith. he's a friend of mine, and he's very interesting.
He is. Sadly, we recorded the conversation with him, but I couldn't be attended because I was ill.
Yeah.
But I also met Justin. When I met him, I didn't meet him physically, but I have spoken with him during Corona days when Growler had or still have a live version, live streaming, yeah. And we met a lot of nice people, became friends, and also Justin was one of those people.
Yeah. Actually, let's talk about streaming. I did it a little bit, but you did it quite a lot during Corona.
During Corona, I was like 1 year and a half at home. So during the day, I would do stuff around the house, fix wherever there is to fix. I was like Rapunzel, the first song of Rapunzel, just trying to wonder where will my life begin. And I was painting the walls, brushing my beard, and in the evening, in the night, I used to stream and talk with people around the world. And
that's why you made me my first cake. I just remembered. We'd just met. Right, we'd met once, I think, maybe twice, or something. And then I remember I saw that you were streaming, and so I went into your stream, and you were like, "Oh, hi, Paul," and you were making a cake, and I said, "Are you making me a cake?" And you said, "Well, what kind of cake do you like?" And I said cheesecake, and then the next day you came over, and you'd made like the biggest cheesecake in the world. It was not like that. It was like a full sort of 15 inches cheesecake, a foot big, foot and a half cheesecake.
He wasn't a bear at that time.
Just so for me, this is.
So I guess he thought it's big, but for us bears, it's like
it was big.
It's just.
But then I tried it, and it was like the most delicious thing I think I'd ever eaten, and I think that's when I realised I loved you.
Really?
No, but I thought this is a keeper. Oh. I thought if this man can make cheesecake like this, then we need to.
There were eclairs also.
There were, which were also amazing.
Yeah, I remember. I used to make stuff.
Yeah. You never make me cake anymore.
Well, doctor's order. I need to watch my many stuff.
Yeah.
So I try to do less. Yeah. But you just need to ask.
I probably don't need an entire cheesecake anymore. I think
I cannot make a slice of cheesecake.
Yeah, this is the problem. I think it was one thing when I was skinny and I could afford to eat an entire cheesecake, but now eating an entire cheesecake is probably not good. I'm also 5 years older, which means that I have cholesterol things, which I didn't have.
Exactly.
Before.
Well, we're just going to invite you to have cheesecake.
Oh yeah. So if anyone wants to come over for cheesecake, that means he's got an excuse to do it. So. Let us know, comment, email and everything, and let us know. But yes, you used to stream all the time doing that.
Yeah.
You were like either doing laundry or cooking or baking.
I used to cook, I used to paint.
And painting.
I used to, and just like sitting around hosting friends, like Sean.
Yeah, I remember.
Yes, he worked with me a few times, and in the live streaming, you have a guest appearing also. So, yeah, it was really really nice.
Yeah, I came in your box a couple of times. I mean, it was the box in the frame that you could go when you were a guest on someone else's stream. That's what I meant.
That's what I understood.
Yeah. So you were quite a big streamer, but we're going to talk to another streamer, and we're going to go over and talk to him now to see Justin Terry Smith. when it comes to this guest, who knows where to even start? He laughs in the face of the term multifaceted and is the king of slash, as in being a doctor slash actor slash streamer slash advocate slash influencer slash husband slash father slash boyfriend slash everything basically you can think of. If there's a pie in which one can stick a finger, he's probably got his fist in it. The fantastic Justin Terry Smith is on Bear Cub and the Beast. Hi. Sorry.
Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Did you like that? I thought
I
you'd
loved it.
I thought you'd appreciate. I thought you'd
Oh,
appreciate.
I definitely did.
Cool. So thank you. Welcome to the show. Um, Unfortunately, I'm on my own today because my partner in crime, unfortunately, is not feeling very good. He's done his back in, so I have promptly sent him off to bed. So you've just got me, I'm afraid. It's just me, but I'll do my best to occupy you. How are you doing? How's everything?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Today's been a great day. I woke up this morning, so I just say today is another day, another dollar for me. So yeah.
Amazing. How's you're based in New Mexico,
Yes, yes.
Albuquerque, or somewhere like in the middle of nowhere outside Albuquerque?
Yeah, so I live here with my husband, and our boyfriend's moving in September. We live on 80
Oh,
acres of land. Yeah, so we live on
that's
80
not
acres
tough.
of land. So we have like a whole wide open space, and pretty much we can do whatever we want, and nobody
Mm-hmm.
sees us.
Mm-hmm. We'll be coming to all of these things a little bit later. So
I'm
look,
sure.
I think we need to talk about how we met
Oh my
because
God.
it's an unusual story. Well, first we should say we've known each other for how many years have we known each other for now? Three or
God,
four?
I think it's like four.
I think it's four, but we have
It,
never physically been in each other's presence
right.
yet. And it's a
Yes.
big yet because we will in like what 3 months?
Yes.
Actually, less than 3 months. Well, like
Wait,
it's it's less than three
it's 3 months.
months.
August, September, October.
Yeah, but
Wait,
it's the 31st of July today,
right.
which means
Yeah.
that by this time I would have been feeling you physically for like 5 days. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm very excited.
So am I.
Yeah. So look, so okay, do you want to tell the story about how we met?
Yeah, I can do it.
Sure.
So I think we, I think we both belong to a Jewish group, and I can't even remember what group it was anymore. But it was like a Jewish group, and I had posted something from a DC magazine, and it was, and
Mm.
like they used, like magazines like to title things so it's provocative, and
Like
so you
clickbaity.
want to read it. Right. So I
Yeah.
think, and then there was a misinterpretation. You were like, so what does this have to do with this? And I was like, well, if you just read the article, and then you were like, well, why should I have to read it? And then we kind of just went into this like arguing
Yeah.
thing online, and I was like, let's just take this offline. So
Yeah.
we talked offline, and then we realized that we have more in common than we thought. And I was like,
Yeah.
well, I kind of like him. And then I said, well, and then you were like, here's my number, and I was like, here's mine. And we just talked on the phone, and like it was like almost constantly.
Yeah.
And then I was like, he's my friend. I like him.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't even remember what it said, but it was a really like the problem. I remember the problem was it didn't look particularly like a gay magazine.
Like
So
that, yeah,
like a queer magazine, and so the way that the headline read sounded really like homophobic, and I was like,
hmm
oh my God, how can you put
yeah,
this in? And you're like, what, and you're like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, this is
yeah.
disgusting. Like I went full on Facebook like rage of like this is disgusting and blah 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 like, and you were like it's a gay magazine, and I was like, well, how was I supposed to know that? There's no like no one
Right,
cracks a rainbow over it. Do you know what I mean?
right.
Anyway, and then it was like, okay, so let's just, and then yeah, like you said, we sort of ended up talking, and it's
Yeah,
yeah. So yeah, so that's how we met, and now we're friends. So we've been friends for years
yes,
now, and we talk all
yes,
the time.
yes.
Cool. So you mentioned your husband,
Hmm.
and how long have you guys been together for?
We have been together for 19 years.
This is mad in itself. Well, that's like that's like a twink's age long. You know, you've been
Yeah.
together for as long as a twink has been born. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Like there are people legally having sexual relations in this world who are younger than who have been alive less time than you've been with
Exactly.
with your husband.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. And we've been 15 years married. So actually our anniversary is next week. It's August the 7th.
So there are
And
people illegally having sex who have been alive
right, exactly.
longer than well, legally in some countries, maybe I think like the Netherlands or something.
Yeah. I've never been.
Well, the age of consent in the UK is 16, so it's only
I mean, I could see that. I could totally understand that.
I mean, there
Yeah.
are certain states in America where you could get married and have kids younger
I
than that.
know. I know. And
Uh,
like I'm like, are you mentally ready for this? Like, so if you're like
I don't
17
know
and
if
you're
you're
like thinking
prepared.
about marriage and kids, I'm like, are you mentally prepared for this? Like, I mean, I understand physically we're prepared to have children, but
Yeah,
like mentally, I don't. Sometimes I'm just like, you need to stop.
yeah, you
Like,
need
you need
to
to just
just
not.
just take a breath.
Just wait a little bit. Right. Just
Yeah,
wait a little bit.
maybe pass an exam. You know, I don't know. I feel like if you haven't passed an exam in your life, you probably shouldn't be, procreating. Anyway, no judgment, whatever. Um, talking of kids, so kids, you have kids.
Yeah, yeah. Me and my husband have two children. We adopted them when they were a little bit older, and they're now 27 and 26 and thriving and surviving. We're very proud of both of them. And one is trans non-binary, and the other one identifies as gay. And so what happened was these kids were pretty much kicked out of their house or ran away because of their home life not accepting them for who they are. So they actually met in school. So that's how one of them, that's how the second one came to us because he knew that that was a safe space for him. So
Oh,
he came to our house and he had his clothes of grocery bag. They were like grocery bags of clothes, and I was like, "What's going on?" I just came home from work, and I was like, "What's going on?" And he said, "Well, I don't want to talk about it." I said, "No, you're gonna bring your behind in the house, and we're gonna talk about this because I want to know what's going on." And so we literally called Child Protective Services, and um, we got consent from his parents saying fine, and so we
wow.
adopted. We took him.
That's beautiful and sad at the same time, Like,
Yeah, but now he has a good relationship with them, and
okay,
at least his mother.
yeah,
And my first child does have a good relationship with her father too. So I'm
okay.
her father as well. So I'm kind of happy that because
It's a happy
people think
ending.
that adoption is not about, reunification. They think it's when once you adopt them, they're yours and they can't have a relationship with their parents, and that's not true at all.
Mm.
It's one of those things where I remember when we went to court for her, um, the father said, take care of my child for me. And I said, no, we will take care of your child. Like we, as in like all three of us will take care of your child because you're still in the picture and I still want you there.
Yeah. So how old were they when you adopted them?
Early teens,
Early teens.
early teens, yeah, like
Yeah.
13.
Wow. Yeah. That's young. So are they the same age then? Did you say? Sorry, you said one was
No,
26,
they're like 1 grade apart, 1 year apart.
1 year apart. Cool.
Hmm.
Okay. And um, so you're with husband, Phil, and
Hmm.
then you've got kids, and then a few years ago, how many years ago? I can't remember. 3, is it? You meet the lovely, wonderful, beautiful, handsome, very cute Joey.
Yes.
And tell us, how did you meet Joey?
So I have a thing with meeting men for some reason,
How
or
do they?
women
Yeah, they
sometimes.
they just like, oh
So
yeah, well, fair.
so sometimes well, not sometimes. Every single time I've had a partner, I've kind of lured my way in there. So one time Joey was at a party and I saw him and my husband wasn't there yet. So this is I had moved to New Mexico. My husband was still in DC and he was gonna move later. And so when I saw him at the party, I said, wow, he's definitely just he's as you would say, very fit.
He's
And
fit, yeah.
so yeah, so like he was like sexy. I was like, wow.
I don't know if I
And
say that
so
anymore. It's quite a 90s kind of term. It's like when I was a teenager, it's like, man,
is it really?
yeah, it's like he's well fit, man. Like I don't know if people say that anymore. Maybe they do. I don't really say it anymore. Like it's I am 40. I don't think I can get away with like he's well fit, like you know.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, sorry, I digress.
That's okay. So I saw him at the party, and I didn't really talk to him that much, but I was just like, wow, I'm just gonna like hold off and like not.
And stalk him from
And then
afar.
right, and so right,
Observe your prey from the
right, exactly. Like observe their behavior, things like that. I mean, I'm a therapist, so that's kind of what I do.
yeah.
So the second time, my husband actually was in town, and we went to this party, and he was there at the party with his sister. And so I said, hey, and at this time, like before the party, I actually saw him on social media on Scruff. And I was just like, ooh. And so I hit him up and I was like, hey,
If Scruff's social media, I don't think no. I'm sorry, I have
I
to stop
mean,
you there.
I mean, I mean, it can be. So when okay. My point is that I just got a new Apple phone and a new
uh-huh.
iPhone. And so when I uploaded it, it went under the social media folder automatically.
I think they're being kind. Maybe they didn't have a maybe they
So
didn't
I
have a
saw him.
category for like fuck's sake. Like, do you know what I mean? Like
Exactly.
getting laid apps. Maybe that's not
Right,
a thing that
exactly.
they have.
So I saw him on Scruff and I was like, hey, do you remember me from the party? He's like, yeah, of course. I remember you from the party. I was like, oh, okay, great. So we just started talking. So I saw him at the party, I was at another party with my husband, and I said, hi, Joey, it's Justin. He's like, yeah, I know. Of course I know who you are. And I was like, oh, okay. He was like, yeah, I couldn't take my eyes off you. I'm like, okay.
Mm.
So then I said, okay, right. But then of course I had to introduce the husband to him. So I was like, oh, Phil, this is Joey. Joey, this is Phil. Talk. And I just like kind of pushed my husband and talked to him. And so I walked away, and his sister was in another room. So I was like, oh, okay. So I have to be strategic about this. Okay. I know what to do. So basically what I did was I went to his sister. I was like, hey, I'm Mercedes, right? She's like, yeah. I'm like, hey, how you doing? I'm Justin. She's like, yeah, hi, how are you? I'm like, I'm good. And I was like, your brother is just really handsome. She goes, I know, everybody says that. She's like, she's like, I've heard this before. And I was like, I'd fuck him. And then I walked away. And so because I did,
I mean, okay.
right.
I
So
don't have a
she was just
sister, so I don't know how that. I don't have a sister, so I don't know how I would feel about that. But
but I knew that the strategy was I knew that she would tell him in the
yeah,
car going back home, right? So I was like, perfect. So then, the next day, like I'm on Scruff and I get a message and it's Joey. He goes, so you talked to my sister? I'm like,
did
and I was
I?
like, yeah, I had a really nice chat with her. Blah, blah, blah. He was like, she told me what you said, and I was like, really? And he goes, the feeling's mutual. Okay. So we started dating Joey, and I went to Mexico, and I wanted the husband and Joey to spend time together by themselves. Like I was like, that's really important to me that they have a connection. So we both started dating Joey, and here we are almost 3 years later, like still together, and things are going very well. Joey moves um in a month,
Wow,
and we're all going on the cruise, so you
I
get to meet both
know,
of them.
I know.
Yeah,
Because
yeah, I
I've
know.
spoken to them. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like through you, I've
yeah,
spoken to
yeah.
them.
Like when we video chat or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm very excited. Yeah, it'd be cool.
Yeah.
So, okay, so I would say, like, you know, let's talk about the whole polyamorous thing
Okay.
from your point of view, because I have never done, well, I have done it, but it was like not real. And like when I had a husband, and we kind of brought in a vaguely like a waif slash stray, um, and it was a bad idea, and it didn't go very well, and it was really just because he was really fit. He was really hot, and, but really like that was it, and he was like getting kicked out of the house, and we sort of brought him in. It was almost like
Yeah.
it wasn't a good situation, and it all went terribly, terribly wrong.
Right.
So, but I see the kind of, that's my experience. But tell me about yours, because you are like, is it? Do you say it's polyamorous? Do you say it's a throuple? Do you say what do you say?
So what so what we say is that we're a throuple. So like so a lot of people say triad, right? A lot of people say we're a triad, which a lot of people don't use because they feel it's a little confining. Like they're like, oh, a triad is only like, but a throuple it's open-ended, right? So you can have more partners if you would
Okay.
like. We're the throuple. So that's what we call ourselves, a throuple. Um, I just say I'm polyamorous. I'm not monogamous. I tried it so many times and I failed at it. Like I just couldn't do it because I wanted more connections with other people. And I actually had a friend of mine that I just recently blocked. Um, and I said,
There's a lot of that
this
going
these
around.
and especially the United States. And so I pretty much was explaining my relationships, and he said, "Oh, that's not about connection." And I said, "How are you going to tell me about my relationships, and how are you going to define that for me? You can't do that. I can define that for me,
Yeah.
and that's it." And so he was like, "Well, LOL, it's not about connection. You're fooling yourself." And I said, okay, so this coming from the person who can't hold on to a man for more than 6 months. So, okay, you like kind
Yeah.
of like,
Like
yeah, I was just like, go ahead.
no, go on.
I was just like, my thing is like, you don't have to agree with my life, right? Like, I mean, I don't agree with a lot of things that go on in other people's lives. However, the whole idea is that this is the way that I live my life. Don't disrespect or criticize it. It's really none of your business. But like the thing
Yeah.
is, you have a lot of people that have their opinions and decide that, oh, I want to voice my opinion about this. And I'm like, okay,
What? But and
so
also why? Why do you have to voice your opinion? Why do you think I give a shit about your opinion? Like they
yeah,
always say, opinions are like arseholes. Everyone's got
yes,
one, but no one needs to
right,
hear from it, you know?
right, exactly. Keep
And
your
most
fart
of them
inside.
stink.
Right, exactly. Exactly. I mean, it's kind of funny, like I have been to Israel before, and I freaking love it. I've had a great time there, and so when I explain a lot of the people are intrigued. They're like, "Wow, so how does that work? Like, how do you have a husband and then have a boyfriend?" And I said, "Well, this is how it works." And they're like, "I wish I could do that." And I said, "Why can't you?" And a lot of times it's because we're raised in the society pressures of what heterosexual normatives are and things like that. Like people
Mm.
just want to say, I want one person, and that's perfectly fine. If that works for you, that's great. But it just doesn't work for me.
I mean, the people that I know and I've met here, I would say I don't. Obviously, like everywhere else, like many like gay men couples
Hmm. Hmm.
are, or or maybe I shouldn't say it. Maybe I should say same-sex couples where they are both men.
Hmm.
Because I don't know that many same-sex couples where they're both women, so I can't comment. But when it's men, often they open. Not necessarily.
Hmm.
I haven't necessarily met people who are poly. Well, no, let me rephrase that. I haven't necessarily met people who are in like polyamorous sort of relationships that are linked all over the place, or that have a boyfriend, like, or there's three of them, or something like that. However, what's interesting is that I have met, spoken to, spoken about, heard about more polyamorous straight relationships
Hmm.
where there's like a primary or and then secondary and tertiary relationship
Yeah.
with mixed sex couples
Yeah.
that I had, and I've never met anyone in Britain. I mean, obviously there are people in Britain who do that, but what's
Yeah.
interesting is that here actually I've met loads of people, um, and it's very, you know, it's sort of very people very open about it,
Hmm.
and I don't. Of course, the thing is, I don't know whether that's because of culture here or
Hmm.
if it's because it's something that in the last 5 years since I've been here has kind of become more of a thing and more publicized and more accepted, and therefore it's happening everywhere. It's just that I so happen to be here. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense. I mean, like, as you see as time goes on, like when me and my husband have been poly since we met.
Yeah,
So like I kind of didn't agree in the beginning, but then I realized that, okay, so you've been failing at monogamy ever since you've been trying to be monogamous since middle school.
yeah, yeah,
So I just was like, no, okay, so let me try this and see what happens. And then when I tried it, I was like, oh, now I get it. Now I understand.
yeah,
And now that I'm more open about who I love and who I'm with, my brothers actually were like, "Yep, if there was going to be a polyamorous brother, it would be you." Because I have three brothers, and like they're like, "Yeah, it's you."
yeah.
Yeah,
But I had similar experiences when I was with an ex of mine. See, not these days, not really at all, because people again
mm,
sort of open, especially sort of in the queer community, open relationships are much more kind of accepted and stuff. But
yeah,
I'm talking like 15 years ago, um,
hmm
when I was with my ex, and we were open, and there were fewer people who were open, who were openly open, maybe I should say,
right, yeah,
publicly open. Most of them were just, screwing other people. Both knew that they were screwing other people, but just not accepting or mentioning or like being dishonest about it.
yeah,
And the amount of we got a lot of crap. Like we got a lot of people saying stuff to us. We got, and I had the same thing as you, where it's like, well, you obviously don't love each other. Well, you're just lying to yourself. And again, I remember, and I've said the same thing as you, which was like,
hmm
um, how long was your longest relationship? And they're like 4 months. It's like, well, we've been
yeah,
together for 8 years. So
yeah,
who are you to tell me? And then when we split up, you knew people were sort of like, ha ha, see, it didn't work. It's like, mate,
yeah,
we were together for
yeah,
10 years. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
okay, it
yeah,
didn't last,
exactly,
but not because of that, for many other reasons that I won't talk about, right?
right,
But
exactly,
because it's no one's business. But
right,
that wasn't the issue. That wasn't the problem. That was the
right.
one. That was the one thing that wasn't a problem.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. I mean, now it's and I this is the first time I've publicly kind of said this.
Okay. Oh,
So
exclusive, exclusive.
all, so all three of us are together, and now we are dating another couple. We're dating a couple now. So there's five of us all together.
So you're a quinruple, quadruple.
We'll just call it. We just say polycule.
Yeah, I like quadruple. I'm saying this now, right? I have coined this phrase, quadruple.
Quadruple.
Yeah.
Quadruple. I'm trying to figure out how to spell.
Well, you get. I know it should be. No, I'm wrong. It should be quintuple. Like you get like quintuplets, right? So should
Right.
be quintuple.
Quintuple.
Yeah, quintuple.
Yes. Yes, you're right.
It would
I
be
mean,
quadruple, quintuple.
if you really could mess me up, you could tell me as an American how to spell aluminum
Aluminium.
or aluminium.
Because there's an I in it. Okay, we're not getting into that conversation. Um, so you are living together. You're soon going to be living together in your beautiful home. I have only seen pictures. Because New Mexico is so like in the middle that I'm never in a place where we could like because we're going on a like when we looked at where we should go after this cruise and go through
Mhm.
California and stuff, we looked to see how far is New Mexico because we this is before I knew you were coming on the cruise.
Yeah.
To see if we could drive, but it's so far. Like
It's not an easy. It's okay, but like to visit a friend, if you're
yeah,
especially coming from out of country, like I think that driving from California to New Mexico is a little much after like
unless you decide unless you're going to drive all the way across, like all the way across
right,
and stop.
if I was on the way,
If you're coast to
right?
coast, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so beautiful home. I've seen pictures normally of you with your bum out in a swimming pool. Um, it's a lovely bum. Um, or you have. I can. I don't. I. I'm. You have a what do we call it? A porter cabin? A you have like a side little shed, like little
Oh, we have three of
side.
them. We have three of them, right? So
Yeah.
there's Joey has an office
Uh-huh.
there, and I'm in my office, which is inside the house because I kind of like to be in the house, because I have OCD and I'm a control freak. So it's like, okay, so I'm doing the laundry, I'm folding it the way I want it to be folded. Everybody get out of my way while I do this, do this. I'm doing the dishes. I'm just like, get out of my way while I do this.
So I need
And
to
Joey has an
add
office.
slash domestic goddess to your slash.
Basically,
Yeah.
basically, the Roomba does my shit for me, but whatever. So, so, so the husband has his office outside the house, right? Because we realized that if we were in the house together, we would kill each other because we can't work in the same space.
Okay.
And so, then there's another shed,
What's in that other
that we
shed?
have.
What's in the other shed,
It's
Justin? What's through door number 3?
So I will explain it to you. So as you know, Paul, I was Mr. Maryland Leather 2010.
I did,
So
yeah.
of course I'm a BDSM player. So I have a dungeon in one of the buildings, and full on like two slings, two spanking benches, two anonymous glory holes, two anonymous um fuck stations,
Lots of
10 inches,
fun, exciting things.
lots of stuff.
So it's funny, right? Okay, so a couple of episodes ago, Renee and I were talking. We were joking about the fact that and I had a stupid idea, and we had a stupid conversation. You may or may not have heard this, but I suddenly thought afterwards, I should tell Justin about this. This is a really good idea. So we were talking about the fact that he works in a kitchen which is in the basement, and we like joked about the fact it wasn't that kind of basement, and that you shouldn't be cooking around the basement, that kind of basement, if it was like that. And then I said, but it would be a really good like bear event if you like had like that kind of basement plus a barbecue. Like that's how you get the bears in, right? Sex,
Yes.
ribs.
Oh, for
And I
sure.
thought, do you know what? This would be a really good thing for Justin because he's got like the outdoor space with the swimming pool where he could have a big barbecue, and he's got the playroom over there. And I thought you should
Mm-hmm.
call it spit roast.
That would be perfect. We actually just had a pool party here at the house. We had about 40 guys here at the house. And
And was there a spit roast
yes, there were several.
on the
So, of
barbecue? I
course,
mean, on the barbecue.
oh, yeah, that sure. I wasn't really paying attention. So, I was working up an appetite so I could eat. So,
Eat what?
basically. Well, as you know, I don't eat pork, but yeah.
Yeah.
Lots of beef, lots of beef, lots of beef.
Uh-huh. Cool. Listen, so I think we're gonna take a little break. We've sort of talked about like personal life and stuff. We're gonna come back and we're gonna talk about all of your sort of professional, well, not all of them because there's too many, but some of your like some of your like more professional things you do, and a bit more about your advocacy, and a bit more about
Okay.
all of your other projects that you've been up to. So don't go away, anybody. We will be right back. And we are back with the very multi-talented, multifaceted, multi-faced. I don't know. The multi everything. Justin Terry Smith. Hello.
Hello.
So, some people watching this may be thinking, what is this? Who is this? I recognize this man. This man is not Justin. This man is Dr. Dilf. Famously talking about his life on Growler, on his
Yes.
stream, right?
Yeah.
What's that about? When did you start doing it during Corona, right? And then just sort of carried on.
Yeah, because I was living in Maryland at the time, or we were living in Maryland at the time, and then COVID hit, so I had to stay at home from work. And I was like, oh, I was like, what is streaming? I have no idea what this is. I don't have any experience with it. And so I said, oh, Growler has a streaming thing. So let me just take a look at it. And of course, it asks you what your name wants to be. And I'm like, Dr. Dilf, right? So it was like, I was like, well, I'm a dad, and I got the I got the title DILF. One time I was at my son's school, and so he had this gaggle of friends, and so I had to go see the vice principal because something like they wanted to speak to me about his behavior. And I'm in the waiting lobby area before I go see him, and I hear this commotion, and I look over, and it's like, and my son has these gaggle of girls and boys behind him, like, well, I just want to say this is my dad, Dad, this is all my friends, like, and they're like literally in unison. Hi, Dr. Terry Smith, and I'm like, hello, like, okay, so aren't you guys late for class? And they're like, oh no, the late bell has it rung. So they're just literally just staring at me, and I said, well, I guess it's time for you to go to class so you don't, you're not late.
Yes.
And they're like, okay, bye, Dr. Terry Smith. And then of course I'm just like, what the fuck? And so then as they're leaving, one of my son's friends, young man, says, damn, your daddy is a DILF. And I'm like,
But don't call him my
um,
daddy. He's my dad. He's not my daddy.
yeah, but these are like young kids. Like I'm
Yeah,
just like,
sure.
whatever. I'm just like, okay, so so I said one time I said to him, I said, if you get in trouble again, I'm coming down to your school. And my son sometimes has a little bit of an attitude. Like he was like, okay, well, whatever. And I said, oh, okay, so I'll come down to school wearing a DILF t-shirt so everybody knows whose dad you are. And then he was like, Dad, don't do that. I'm like, why? But you're not going to get in trouble, are you? So, I mean, like literally, I didn't have to go back down to the school after that.
Yeah. So that's where the DILF bit comes from. But the doctor bit comes from the fact that you have, is it 86 degrees or 87 degrees?
I I have 5 college degrees and 2 certificates.
Yeah. And you're a doctor. You have a PhD or two
Yeah, I
PhDs.
have a doctorate in public. I have a doctorate in public health with a specialization in infectious disease. I have 2 master's degrees, a bachelor's and an associate's.
So public health, is that okay? How did you kind of, what was your interest in that? Where did that all come from?
That came from back in 2003. I started working for an HIV nonprofit in DC, and it went from there. Like I decided, I'm like, okay, so I kind of like working with the HIV community, and I became HIV positive myself in 2005. And so I realized I'm like, okay, so I've obviously have a pull towards public health and infectious disease. So I decided like this is what I was going to do. And after I got my doctorate, I said, what else could I mean, during my master's degree, one of my master's degrees is in public health as well and community planning. And so I said, what can I do? So I wrote a children's book about HIV, teaching children that just because another child has HIV doesn't mean that you have to treat them any differently than you'd want to be treated. And so the first edition sold out, and then the second edition came, and it's still on Amazon. It's called I Have a Secret. And then I started writing for ANU Magazine and HIV and STI advice column. People used to ask me questions when I became an advocate. They used to ask for my advice on certain things. So I said, why not just do a column? And then so I approached ANU Magazine in Chicago and I said, do you guys have an advice column? And they said, no. I said, would you like an advice columnist? They said, yes. I said, well, I would love to do it. So I started doing that. Then I wrote I literally republished all the advice columns that I did into a book. And it's called Just in Time, of course, because advice is always comes in just in time, and my name is Justin, so there. And so then I republished my dissertation, and that's on Amazon as well. So I just, I've always wanted to do more and more and more work and around public health and around advocacy. Like I started doing HIV campaigns and STI campaigns and things like that. Being a spokesperson, being a motivational speaker,
Hmm.
and now I decided that okay, so public health is a lot, and I work I work as a public health analyst as well, and it's a lot, especially when it came to COVID. Like
Yeah, of course.
that made my life very busy and stressful.
Hmm. And do you, so in your professional, non-advocacy professional work, do
Uh-huh.
you work in that kind of HIV sphere as well? Or is it just more
No.
generalized?
No, I mean, I did before. So I'm a therapist as well. So I used to work for Johns Hopkins AIDS Psychiatry Service.
Mhm.
And so it was kind of like a mix of both. And I was like, okay, so I can do that. And then when we moved here to New Mexico, I stopped working with them. And I actually, me and my husband have a PPO called Coach Positive. And it's
What's
a
a PPO?
coaching, a PPO is like a privately owned business. So the
Okay.
Americans would say PPO.
Okay.
So it's called Coach Positive, and it's just Coach Positive, not being HIV positive. It's just like how you should look at life in a positive way. So we actually have a counseling and a coaching business. So I'm also a life coach, and a counselor. So depending on what kind of work you need help or
Slash.
with, and right, exactly, slash, right. So, I do that, but also I'm an actor on the side.
You are. You're an actor on the side, and you've done. You've been popping up in lots of things, wearing Christmas hats. I've seen. And
God.
so, what kind of things have you been doing? Like, what stuff do you on the acting side of things? Like,
Oh,
what's the
okay.
deal? How'd you get into that?
So I so I started. This is kind of interesting. I started acting very small roles. Like I'd have a brief come on role, like literally like have a line and then go. The first how I first got into it was I had a 40th birthday. My 40th birthday, and I decided to do a photo shoot. I was like, this is Justin at 40, and I was bulked up, like I was like a little bit bigger than I was, and like it was very
Is this the one with
sexy
the
shoot.
cowboy hat?
No,
Oh, that's a different one.
no,
Okay,
that's a different one.
sorry. Different
So then
sexy
I
one.
posted, so then I posted all these pictures on my Facebook page, and then it caught the attention of Christian Fraser. And Christian Fraser, I know, is a friend of mine, and he's an actor, and he's also written things and directed. So he was like, "Hey, I have a proposition for you," and I said, "Okay, what is it?" And he's like, "I'm actually doing a YouTube series called Cerebral." And it's about a guy who gets powers, and I need a sexy love interest to be in a scene. I said, okay. And in the scene, I'm actually being controlled through the computer, and we're having relations through the computer, and he's using his psychic abilities to basically tell me to take off my clothes. And then of course, as you know, because you've acted before, right?
I
So
have. I was an actor for a little while. Yeah.
yeah, so as you know, like you could do like a scene and have like 10 lines. And
Hmm.
then when it gets finally edited,
Yeah.
it's like you have the one line, right?
Yeah.
So I had lines and everything. Like I was like, great. Literally, my part was boop boop, and I was done. Like that was it. And I was just like,
That's so
and
annoying.
I called Christian. I was like, so did you not like?
No, it's normally just because of it editing and they decide that it doesn't move the story along fast enough
Right.
or something.
Exactly. So that's what happened. That's exactly what happened. So he goes, welcome to Hollywood. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Pretty much. And like me and Christian are, we're really good friends. And so after I got that, I got the acting bug. I got bit by the acting bug after that. And I was like, okay, so what else can I do? So then I got a couple calls about horror movies, and I was like, okay, like I can fine, and that's not a problem. Um, and I did a couple horror movies, and then I said, Justin, no more horror movies. Like I don't want to do it anymore.
I
And
haven't
so
seen I don't think I've seen that. I don't think I've seen the thing
yes,
for that. I'm
exactly.
in a horror movie. I am. I'm in a horror movie. It's on. And sorry, just to talk about me. No, um, the weird thing is with the horror movie is that we did it. It took like 3 years or something. Like we did it like bit by. We did loads of it in the first. We were meant to do the whole thing or 50% of it in a weekend. We did loads of it in the
Uh-huh.
first weekend, but then and then people would like disappear, and like one of the actors decided she didn't want to be in it anymore, so we had to replace her and redo scenes. But the
Wow.
problem is, so I would wear the same. It was a zombie film. It's actually
Right.
it's quite good. It's called Dead End. It's actually on YouTube now, um, and it it over like these 3 or maybe 5 years. It's shot
Yeah.
over like 5 years. It's not supposed to be shot. It's supposed to be shot over like
Yeah.
three days, and so
Yeah.
my hair changes shape and colour and size like dramatically, but nobody seems to notice that. Like I'm like a completely different person by the
Right.
like in like this part, but the next scene I'm not. It's so weird, but it doesn't look like that on the actual thing, and
Right.
sort of didn't forget about it, but like I whatever, and I moved to Israel at one point, and then someone saw it on YouTube and they asked us to do a podcast, which we did, and then when I looked
Oh,
it
nice.
online, and like 100,000 people have seen this film.
What?
Yeah, something crazy. Like it's on like
Wow.
two webs. It's on two channels, and like 100,000 people have watched this film.
You have to send me the link now. You
I'll send
realize you
you.
have to send me the link.
It is. It's actually. It is good. And I shot all of it because it's all. It's all
Yeah.
like handheld camera because that was the thing at the time.
Right.
And it was made. It was made before Walking Dead, but it started off before Walking Dead
Uh-huh.
came out. Um, and then after. So anyway, it doesn't matter. But I shot all of it because I was it's handheld camera, so it's all just me
Yeah.
interviewing people and then shooting everything because it's from my point
Mm-hmm.
of view because I'm the lead. um,
Uh-huh.
um, and it is good. There's a bit in the middle that I think needs to be edited, but that's too late now. It's 10 years ago.
Well, I remember I saw your reel. Like I've seen your reel before because we both have an IMDb page, and I looked you up and I saw your reel. And
Oh
you were, I mean,
really?
are you used to getting killed? Like, because I mean, the reel that I saw, you were like, "What are you playing at?" And then you get stabbed, and I'm just like,
Stabbed?
"Oh, damn. Okay,
I don't get stabbed. Where do I... Oh, I know what you're talking about. No, I tell you what
yeah,
that was. That was a competition, and it was a competition where you had to and film write and film and edit a film like a sort of 5 minute film
hmm
in um in like 24 hours or 48
what?
hours. Yeah,
Jesus.
it was a really good. It was like only a 5-10 minute film. So it's a really good. It's a
Well, that's
really
really
good
good considering
little
that you only
film.
had 24 hours to do it.
It was yeah no, it was good fun. It was really good fun. You sort of get there really early in the morning in the middle of some random house in Yorkshire, and it
You
was.
were in Yorkshire?
I lived in Yorkshire for 10 years. I lived in Leeds for 10 years, and
Okay.
yeah, no, I forgot about that. Anyway, who says I get killed in the zombie film? I didn't say I get killed.
Okay. Well,
Maybe
I
I do,
mean,
maybe I don't. I'm not going to spoil it.
okay, right. Well, you just have to send me the link so I can just know which, like, I
I
will
will.
find out.
I will. Anyway,
But so
and
what
so you,
happened was
yeah,
like I decided I was like I don't want to do any more horror movies. I was just like, okay, Justin, because I'm kind of like I played the mayor in one movie called Staycation, and I can't give away certain things, but
mm,
like the movie hasn't come out yet, and it'll be probably coming out in 2025. And then the director and I are really good friends, and I don't want to give away anything because they'll be like, why did you say that? So I did something an actor should never really do. So I went on Indiegogo.com, which is like a page where there's fundraisers for
yeah, like Kickstarter.
movies, right? So I've always wanted to be in a LGBTQ holiday movie, right? I've always wanted to be in one of those
Yeah.
like Christmas movies or like a Hallmarkish kind of thing. And I was like, oh, I want to do that. So then I saw that there was a fundraiser for a LGBTQ Christmas movie, and I was like, oh my gosh. So I emailed the director and I said, hi, I'm Justin Terry Smith. I'm an actor. I was wondering if you had any more parts in your cast that you need to be filled. And you don't usually do that. Like the
Why
director, you
not?
don't
No, that's nonsense.
because
I know actors who listen. Sorry,
yes,
I
I
know an
know,
act.
but yes, true, but it's like it's etiquette, right? But no, actors are like, if I need to
Girl,
fucking get
you've
a
got to
part, I need
eat.
to.
Do you know what I mean? Like actors have to
Right,
do whatever they can do.
right, yeah, exactly. So I emailed, and then he emailed me back, which I was surprised. Like he emailed me like the next day, and he was like, "Oh, can you send me your IMDb page? I actually just had a opening because of scheduling conflicts with this other actor." And I said, "Really?" He's like, yeah, let's he's like he saw my IMDb page and he was like, okay, can you audition tomorrow? Here's your audition, here's your script. And I was like, okay, sure. So I auditioned for him the next day and he was like, I rarely say this to actors, but you got the part. And he really said that like the next like in a couple of hours. He was like, you got the part, you're good. I'll have the flight information for you. This is where you're staying. Blah 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 blah. We shot it in St. George, Utah, which is only like one state up. So I was like, okay, this is great. You're even in my area. I love it. So I shot it, and I was a Christmas elf.
Nice Jewish
And
boy. Nice Jewish boy. Justin was a Christmas elf.
right, exactly. I was just like, okay, I'm a Christmas elf. I'm a cranky Christmas elf. I'm the only Jewish guy on the whole cast in a Christmas movie, which was fun. Which I actually loved all the cast members. They were great. Um, so I shot it, and the director was, he actually, I had him laughing throughout the whole thing. Like he was like, I couldn't keep my eyes off you. You were great. Your part, you really, really held your own. It was really awesome. I was like, thank you. And then so we had a rapport, right? Because that's what you do when you're an actor. You have rapport. You try not to burn bridges. And I really like the director. I really like him, like genuinely. And so he called me back like a year later. And I said, hey, what's going on? He's like, well, I was thinking about you. And I'm like, okay. He said, I have this part. It's a lead. And I was like, what? But of course, like magic, it's a lead role. He goes, yes. And I said, okay, so what's the movie about? And it's a film about a man, without giving anything away. He has a illness, and the illness is lifelong. And so it's him dealing with this illness throughout his like life as much as he can deal with it. And I said, oh, okay, so do I, of course I'm like, um, so like, I have a love interest or whatever. He's like, it's about you. It's not
Okay.
about the love interest. And I was like, wait, so I'm carrying this. It's like no pressure, right? So I'm just like, wait, I have to learn. Like I'm in like in just about every. I was just it's like holy crap. So he says, I'm casting you as the lead, and that's it. And then he says, okay, but also just to let you know, I'm doing a horror movie, and I'm like, okay. And he goes, but I also want to cast you as one of the leads in the horror movie. And then I made a joke because I'm a jokey person. And I said, well, just make sure I don't die first, because black people don't last long.
Yeah. They're always the
We
first
don't
to
last
go.
long.
Yeah.
Right. And I was just like, we're always the first to go. He's
The
like,
black one
you're
and the
one of
fat
the
one.
leads. Yeah, exactly. So he's like, you're one of the leads, so you're not gonna die
Yeah.
like in the beginning. You might die at the end, you might live. I'm not gonna say anything, but this is what it is.
Mm.
So I said, okay, so I start filming next year in January. Yeah,
Wow. That's
yeah,
awesome. So
yeah.
you've got that
I
coming
think so,
up.
shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And you've produced stuff as well, right?
Yes, yes. I produced a film called Serve with Pride. As you can see, it says Air Force on my hat because
It
I'm an
does.
Air Force veteran, an Air Force disabled veteran. And so basically what Serve with Pride is about is it's about service members, actual service members, not actors, but actual service members
So,
who served under Don't Ask, Don't Tell. And I served
wow.
under Don't Ask, Don't Tell. And so I went to the director and I said, hey, I want to put money towards this film because I believe in it and I believe in its work. And so they made me an executive producer. So I said, okay, great, no problem. So there was
There's a
two other executive
documentary.
producer. Yes,
Okay, it's a documentary.
yes. And it's not out yet because it's doing the film festival right
Yeah,
now. So
yeah.
it's going to film festivals and stuff. But we've won 4 awards for it.
Amazing.
Yeah. So I am an award-winning executive producer.
Amazing.
Kind of crazy.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Cool. Okay. So that's coming. That's two things. A few things that are happening at the moment. What else is going on in the world of Dr. Dilf slash
So,
Justin slash?
so I'm looking into. Do you remember when we had the talk about me coming to Israel for Aliyah? Remember, I was like really thinking about it, and I went through so much. It was so stressful. It was just
Yeah.
I think right before October, I was just like, no, I'm done. I'm trying to do this, and it's back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It's just constant. And
Yeah.
I'm like, if I wanted to become a dual citizen of another country, it would not be this much headache. It would not be this much. Like it's not
Yeah.
like I'm Jewish, and of course you're authenticating my Jewishness, which I was just like, okay, this is crazy.
Yeah.
So I decided, I'm like, okay, so I want dual citizenship somewhere else. And I said,
Okay.
my husband is older than me. Like we've been together for 19 years. Since I was 25. So he's been flipping the bill. Like he's been paying for basically everything because he always was the breadwinner, but now I'm the breadwinner. So
Yeah.
my job is to take him to wherever he wants to go around the world because you've taken care of me for so long now. It's time for me to take care of you. So I took him and Joey to Costa Rica, and we loved it. We had a great time. It was amazing. The food was just fantastic. The people were amazing. We stayed at an LGBTQ resort. It was a small resort. It's called Colors, and I loved it. It was just great. Um, it was wonderful. So yeah, exactly. So I looked into dual citizenship with Costa Rica and Mexico. So I'm still kind of doing the research, but Mexico's right below New Mexico. So I'm like, it's closer. But I want to have that option, to be able to say, okay, we're out, we're done.
Okay. No,
And my Spanish is not great, but
yeah, but it can be. Yeah. Cool. So that's all going on. Okay, so tell everybody where, if you want, where we can find you on the world of the interweb. And social media and stuff. Like, we know that you're Dr. Dilford on Growler, but where else are you, and who are you?
So I am on Instagram, Facebook. I have two pages. It's my professional page and then my personal page, but they can intertwine sometimes. I'm on Snapchat. I do have that.
Really?
But also, yeah, I do. Like,
Okay.
I don't like communicating on Snapchat. I feel like, I'm older than 12, so I should stop.
Yeah.
But if you want to find where you can find me anywhere, is you can go to my website, which is www.justinterrysmith.com. So again, that's justinterrysmith.com.
And there's no gaps, there's no hyphens, there's no dots.
No hyphens, no gaps, yeah, all that. So yeah, so that's where you can find me. All my information is there.
Great. And as always, you can find us as well on social media. We are on Instagram, Threads, and TikTok at Bear Cub the Beast, at Bear Cub the Beast LV. You can find us on YouTube and Facebook by searching for Bear Cub and the Beast. You can email us at bearcubandthebeast@gmail.com, or you can go to our website, which is www.bearcubandthebeast.com. And feel free to send us messages and feedback and suggestions and comments and dick pics and everything you want. We accept all those things and anything else you want to do, anything else. So feel free to send forward. And and that's all we have time for. But thank you very much, Dr. Terry Smith /Deal /everything. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I was really I was happily honored. I was just like, oh, they want me to come on the show. I was like, awesome.
Absolutely.
Because I've seen the show before, and I was like, yeah. So it's like awesome. And then I get to see you in October on the cruise.
It's like, I'm very excited. Do you know, actually, I know like about 10 people going on the cruise. It's just randomly.
Yeah, and then we're on the same floor.
Yeah. Cool.
That's crazy. When I was like,
deck. We're on the same deck.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
Cool. So follow us on social media and don't forget to click and subscribe and like and do all of those things. We have upcoming episodes coming out every Thursday, and until then, we will see you then. Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye.